I feel like most people watching this and most Dota players in general are not hero specialists. They're like fill players who pick every hero, which that's another topic, which I actually want to talk about now that I mentioned fill players. But if you're a fill player, you're probably dog shit. If I ask you what role you main and you say, oh, I can play any role, like you just cannot, with the amount of time
you can't play any
player spends on Dota, you cannot play any role because it's fine. That was fine. You that like wasn't cutting me off because you're like hyping
I threw it in.
You know? You're like my cheerleader. You're like, yeah, like you can't. Like, they can't do that
shit.
It's
so bad.
Welcome to the Dota Club Podcast, where we don't talk over each other at all.
Yeah, that's true.
We got some really good feedback. Shout out. I'm actually gonna find out who said that and shout them out. Let me give you
I was about to talk over you so fucking hard, but
that's fucking crazy.
Okay, before you shout them out, I was also thinking about this because of the same exact thing where we got nice feedback, but I think it's just cool that people comment, right? And we appreciate it.
Yeah, I just talked over you. Holy shit! Sorry. Keep talking.
I mean, no, you're good. You're good. Dude, it's just the thing is that's how we talk in real life. So
yeah, we need to work on that shit.
Okay,
I feel like it's just not like normal communication. You know what I mean?
We need to go to therapy.
It's not how normal humans like talk to each other.
I don't know.
Anyway, his name is at SAMP7129. Maybe I'm assuming your name is Sam. Shout out Sam. Y'all talk over each other a bit too much. Good info though. We really appreciate the feedback. Like Pyne was saying, wow, already I feel like I'm in a safe space because you haven't cut me off yet. I feel like I'm just so used to like
I'm about to start.
You just did it, dude. You just.
I know exactly. I needed to. I was gonna start.
Crazy. No, but I feel like it's just so much more professional.
Yeah.
And
I'm done.
But like Pyne was saying, we appreciate like any and all feedback. And this is a new podcast, the OG Real Dota Club Podcast. And we appreciate all the feedback and the constructive criticism, and we're trying to make every episode better than it was. So thank you, Sam.
I mean, the most obvious one's the YouTube comments, but also like, you know, people on my friends list have talked to me about it, given me feedback, or just given me love for it. Like, it's cool. It's not even my product, right? Like I'm just here, but it's your product.
Oh, it's our product. What do you mean? You're co-host.
For sure. Yeah, I'm a co-host. I'm just saying it's your channel, right? Like it's all good. It's not a weird thing, but yeah, I was thinking about saying that. Like, it's just cool. And I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the love. And I want more. Like, if you're here lurking, fucking comment, man. Say your shit.
It cool. Feels good. It's motivation for us to like make better content. So there's something that I really want to talk about today. It's funny. We didn't talk about this in advance, but I saw this. You said this term to me yesterday. And I also saw it on my TikTok feed. So I'm assuming like that's where you got it. It's like a viral term among like Gen Z humor. It's called crashing out is the term. And I saw a clip of like some famous streamer. His name is Jinxie. And the caption was like, Jinxie crashed out when like somebody said this to him. And like somebody made fun of his ex-girlfriend in the game. And he basically just like tweaked out and like lost all of his humanity and like started yelling. And I think that's applicable to Dota. Because sometimes I won't like tweak out, or I actually will tweak out on the mic sometimes. Sorry if I've ever done that to you. And I feel like I've done it a little bit too often recently. But I'll mentally crash out where like something will happen in the Dota game and I'll just be too mentally weak in the moment to like have discipline, and I'll start playing really badly and making like super sloppy plays. And you said you crashed out in one of our games yesterday.
I might be the professor of crashing out. I have a PhD in that shit, but this is perfect. I wanted to talk about this too, because I have my anecdotal game. I had a Void Spirit game where I crashed out. And what crashing out is, I mean, you explained it well. It's like where you just start tweaking out. I just crashed out in a Void Spirit game where we fucked up one gank, and then I just started tweaking for the rest of the 50-minute game, basically.
Oh, is that when our friend CM didn't use his ult?
Yeah, and he had a nice point. Sorry, Napkin. No, he had a nice point, which was, I have more to say on like, in general about this, but he had a nice point where he didn't use the CMO and he was afraid of getting drow silenced, right? But there's some nuance to it where it's like you can like wait out the drow silence or like get some procs off before maybe, or etc. Because the drow's also trying to silence me on Void Spirit.
For context, it was like 4 heroes ganking a drow, or 3 heroes.
Yeah, and he lived on like 1 HP. It was like really tough. It was really tough.
If you're support watching this, like most of the times you should just drop your ult. Even if you're like killing an enemy support, like it's
I don't even drop the ult. I agree. Sorry, I cut you off.
I'm gonna crash out.
He's gonna. I can't. It's Ursa and Rage. We gotta cut this out.
Ursa.
Yeah, literally about to show up at my door. So we fucked up the gank. I don't even know if it's that general because he had a nice point about the drow silence, and there's nuance to it. There's a different way to play it. And to be honest, I should be thinking about that, but I wasn't because I'm not playing CM, right? I was busy thinking about Void Spirit. I like dissimulate, dodge, the silence, and that's what I was focused on.
As you should be. You shouldn't have to micromanage your
exactly. It's not my responsibility as well. But the point being is that for the rest of the game, I just wasn't focused. I crashed out, and I saw Quinn Callahan do this, which to make the full point about crashing out, because he was in a game where he was Void Spirit, so I related very heavily, and his team was pretty AFK, and he was dominating the game, and he was at the T2 enemies safe lane T2 tower. And he's like, we're so much stronger, guys. We just got to fight. And he sees 5 heroes on a ward and he just double dashes in and feeds disgustingly hard.
Uh-oh.
And then Gork makes some comment about how he's baiting them to do this.
Gork was in the game.
Yes, he was the AFK bastard.
Hey, he's farming away.
No, it was chill. It was chill. He went in soloed Tormentor or some shit, and Quinn went into 5 heroes and crashed out. And then what Quinn said, which I related to this too much, he's we're just so much stronger than them. I can't take it anymore. And while he may be right, the thing is his point is oh, if we're just 5, they can't beat us. Yeah, but you're not 5, right? And the crashing out part is just freaking out because you're not doing something that should be done. But the reality is it's not being done. And to try and it's just foolish to oh, we can win it for 5. And then you're 1v5 and you go in. It's yeah, but you can't win if you're 1v5 and you knew that shit. And you're just tweaking.
That's a great point. You need to take in the information that's in the present. I do this too in another form where it'll be a lane where I'm playing a really strong lane with my 5. I'll be carry and I'll have a vision for how I want the lane to go and how I think the lane should go, which is good. I think that's a sign of a high skill player if you envision what the other hero should do and what your hero should do in relation to that. But a lot of the time in my games, I'm pretty low MMR right now. I think I'm a lot higher than my MMR. Crappa. I'm just kidding. Not a crappa.
He's just throwing in all the cope, just get it in there, in the podcast.
Let me cope.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
you guys will see. In a month, I'll come back to this and I'll be I was not coping.
You'll see.
Basically, what will happen in the lane is not what I think should happen, and the lane will go a lot more poorly because of it. I'll be low net worth, and I'll be annoyed because I'll be annoyed at what should have happened instead of taking in the information in the present and just gearing up to go jungle or recover.
Mm-hmm. You crash out differently as well. I know.
Yeah, people. Oh, I cut you off. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
People crash out in different ways.
Yeah, and I think you queue up Midas.
Yeah, well, it depends. I start playing really. I think a common theme in crashing out among most people I see is they start playing really badly. Sometimes I buy back and then I just queue up Midas and I just jungle for 40 minutes.
Yeah, and you're not thinking about the game.
Soft grief the game, and I don't think about the game. I mentally check out and I play the worst possible Dota that I could play. I'm thinking about other things. I'm thinking about the fact that
you're thinking about the lane.
Yeah, I'm thinking about how the lane should have been.
No, but I'm saying that because when I crash out over something, I'm thinking about that shit for 50 minutes straight. I'm literally just thinking about, but that one play, and it's you're a fucking deranged lunatic, man. Get over it. Yeah.
For me, I'm not directly thinking about it, but I think it manifests itself in my gameplay. I'm just so frustrated that I can't overcome that emotion. It's just too. My whole brain gets clouded for the Dota match.
Yeah, so, I don't think you're thinking directly about it. But you're thinking in the example with the lane, you're not thinking about what you should have done in the lane, but it manifests itself throughout the entire game because you're I should be so much stronger. My game is so griefed, et cetera, because of the lane. And then you're just thinking about that for 30 minutes and you're not playing Dota 2.
Yeah, I'm thinking about how shitty the game is and how I don't want to play it. And then at that point, I'm thinking about abandoning. And at that point, I probably just should abandon because
you're not even playing at that point. Once you have those thoughts, you're not playing.
I think this might be a hot take, but if you don't want to play the game, I think abandoning is perfectly chill. I remember I abandoned a game. I
respect it.
I abandoned a game 5 years ago. I forget what was happening. I feel I had a griefing tinker or something. Maybe it was 2. It was 2 to 3 years ago. I had a griefing tinker, but he wasn't actually griefing. Or maybe no, I was the tinker. That's funny. And I died I died 3 times mid, and this was a norm too. It wasn't even ranked. And I just didn't want to play and I abandoned. And then all 9 players in the post-game chat flamed me afterwards. They're really, bro? Why'd you do that? You're wasting our time. But abandoning is better than just soft griefing the game if you know you're crashed out or you just don't want to play.
Yeah,
I'm a proponent of abandoning. You get 1 free abandon every 20 games.
Yeah.
Let that ride.
I think you're wasting their time more if you soft grief and play and like hit up the jungle, which is what half these fuckers do. They lose lane and they get tilted, and then they like play ogre and like jungle for 40 minutes. Just abandon, bro, if you don't want to play.
Especially in NA, I feel like there's so many people who just do that.
So I don't understand that, where people are like, like they get mad at you, like, oh, you wasted our time by abandoning. No, I just saved your time because I didn't want to fucking play the game, man. And like, this shit's ass. Like, let's go queue again. I understand, like, some people, you know, no, you're good. It's hard to tell when, like, you know, anyways, like, I understand the sentiment because it's like, oh, what if you only had time for one game and someone abandons? But like, I don't know, like, do you want to play a shitty game where like your tinker like fucking youngles for like 40 minutes and doesn't play because he's tilted? Like, that's just like also ass. When
I don't want to play Dota and when I play, because Dota's kind of addicting. So sometimes I find myself queuing even though I don't like actually really want to play. And I play a lot worse during that. And that relates to being jaded, which is something that we talk about a lot. But a big part of being jaded for me is I don't actually want to play. I'm just playing for like dopamine hits, you know? I don't just want to play Dota. I want to win. And if I don't win, I get really frustrated and then I will crash out more because I only want to win and I don't just want to play Dota.
Yeah, I find that to be very true. And it relates really well right now with the patch because I feel like my love for Dota has never been higher. I'm really loving Dota. Or like, obviously I always love the game, but I'm saying like my relationship with Dota and my enjoyment, like playing day to day is just like as high as it's ever been. But I feel that because I've been playing a lot more. So I remember, I mean, literally yesterday, I was queuing some late night pubs and eventually it's like, yeah, I just wasn't feeling passionate about queuing and I just shouldn't queue. And I agree. I enjoy so much more when I'm like feeling super passionate about playing.
With Dota especially, I think it's really easy to just keep going. Whereas with something like water polo, for example, or like an organized sport, you can't just chain queue it because you play like 3 hours total in the week. So every time you're hyped up to play. But with Dota, when you're just like in your bedroom on the computer, getting dopamine hits every time you see us, cha-ching, like you just queue it up. And I think, or for me, I have to be really conscious of like if I actually want to play, or even I do this when I'm a little bit tired. And when I know that I can't play my best, and I value playing my best and like playing at peak performance because I'm just kind of a competitive guy. And I think in general, if I can't play like at the top 20%, if I'm not feeling like, you know, my top 20% like really good, like energetically, like cognitively, it's just not worth playing because I'll make mistakes that I know I wouldn't make if I was feeling at my peak. So, and I think that helps. This whole thing helps me just be better in general when I only play when I'm feeling good because I'm playing well. And when I'm not feeling my best, I find myself making mistakes that I find myself relearning concepts that I learned before because I'm just not like fully there mentally.
Yeah, not even just about performance, but when I play, when I'm not feeling passionate about it, it lowers my passion for Dota, right? Because I'll play like these shit games where all I care about is winning, and I'll have a negative time, and like it's just a overall negative experience. I remember yesterday I kind of did this because I'm like lying in fucking bed, like winding down for the night, and I'm like tired. And then I get pinged like, yo, let's play some fucking Dota. And they also dropped the A patch. I'm like, I gotta queue this shit up right now. Or I've had this thought before where like I'm really tired and I'm like, damn, I'm not feeling, because yeah, I agree. In Dota, you have to like really sweat and try hard. Or at least that's how I enjoy the game. And if you don't, like, I don't know, you get shit results. And then I'm like, I'm tired, so I'll go play some like support and chill. And it's like, that's just disgusting. That's disgusting. I'm so used to us cutting each other off that now when you don't cut me off, it's strange because I actually have to like finish my thought.
Yeah, I think like, this is putting it into perspective how bad it was before.
Yeah, no, because I'm like saying my thought and I don't have like a nice finished thought or conclusion to it, so I don't know how to wrap it up, and I'm just waiting for you to cut me off. And I'm like, and then and I'm like, oh shit,
no, I
like,
experienced the same thing.
Yeah, no, it's like so strange. I'm like, funny. Oh my god, I actually have to like finish my point.
Yeah, this is a good exercise.
Help me, cut me off already, hurry.
But we had a good game when you got on last night when you were jaded. So you must not, or when you were tired.
No, I wasn't. I felt
you
better.
must have been locked in. It feels like
I locked in.
I was super locked in too. That was a nice game.
That was a great game.
Got some Weaver support in.
Yeah, no, that was sick. Weaver support's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
there you go. Pick that shit in the patch.
You should talk about BSJ's facet philosophy.
Yeah,
you told me something BSJ said. You can explain that, or I can explain it.
And it also relates. to another thing, which is people like tweaking and just having shit ideas about builds in the new patch, which is cool. Everyone's learning. But so when it comes to facets, an important thing about facets is uptime, because for example, let's use Legion Commander as an example, because she was the strongest hero and she just got nerfed. But what made Legion's thing so strong is that it was the skill that you took at level 1. It's relevant perma. Like level 1 in lane, it went from old Legion, if you think about it, had a nuke, and that was it, and that was all she did. And now she has a nuke, a counter attack passive, and a shield. So she just has like 3 more spells level 1, and that the uptime on that is like constant. So BSJ's philosophy about the facets is you want to generally choose the one with more uptime. You don't want to play for, someone talked about this with the Storm Shock Collar. He's like, the 25 talent with the overload bounce with the Storm Shock Collar agonyms is Smurf. Yeah, I'll see you in 50 minutes when you get that shit, man. Like, meanwhile, Legion Commander's like kicking your ass in lane with the facet for 40 minutes straight. So you want to choose the one with more uptime in general.
Yeah. Another way to put that, I don't know if I just cut you off there. I feel like I didn't. No. I feel like that was like a socially acceptable time to like get into the conversation.
Yes. No, it was. It wasn't. I just said like passively, which was also not a good practice.
Another way to put that is like which facet is going to be more relevant for more time throughout the game. And I think that's a great way to put it generally. I mean, on Legion, the numbers were just way too buff. Also with the shield, like she gets just a random, 8-second 300 damage shield in lane, which was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But I generally like that facet philosophy. I've been having fun exploring the facets, and it really feels like Dota 3, it's really good. Shout out to Valve, best company ever. They never do anything that would make us feel bad.
I love Valve.
Or anything. They would never like lead us on or blue ball us in any way. They're the best company ever. They make the best patches for the best game.
Dude, I'm a Valve. Dude, the Redditors will hate this, but I'm a Valve sympathizer. I'm a Valve defender.
A lot of Redditors like Valve, actually.
Yeah, well, they fluctuate.
They fluctuate very rapidly, like they're bipolar or something.
There's also
what's happening.
I won't go into this too much. It's just an example of Valve, but they have that new game that they're announcing that Ice Frog's working on, supposedly. Deadlock, yeah. It's like the 3D MOBA, like Smite-esque. Shooter MOBA kind of style. And same shit where like I just see the sentiment where people are hating Valve, like about time they released another game, etc., etc. And it's like, I mean, Valve is just like making that cash off Steam, right? Like that's their main thing. So once again, every time they release content, it's so good, and like I just love it. Like, thank you, Valve.
Yeah.
Fucking Dota 3, and I'm playing Dota 3 right now. It's sick.
Yeah, I like the frame that they're not obligated to do anything. Like they revolutionized PC gaming with Steam. Like they already put in that good work. Like Steam is so good.
Yeah, well played.
And every time they put out content, like I'm probably gonna be satisfied or like happy, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just happy whenever they do it. Dude, I know something we have to talk about. We've talked about this a lot off camera. And I was like reading our list of topics, and I saw this, and I thought we just have to talk about this right now. You guys know like mini profiles in Dota, and you can customize them. But a lot of people like make their profiles really sexual, and I find that really distasteful. And I'm not like prude. Like I make sex jokes, like they're funny. I make gay jokes with the homies and stuff. Like I like it. I like sex.
Yeah, all right.
But I just find it extremely distasteful when like in Dota. I mean, I'm not gonna like say explicit examples here because it's just too like disgusting, and I don't really
No, I'm kidding.
You want to list them?
No, I don't, because
you want to talk about that daggone dick jerking off onto the Greevil.
Yeah, exactly, dude. It like reduces my humanity to, like,
should I cut that out? I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna leave that in there just for shock value. But,
yeah, exactly.
And some of these people are my friends, and it's like I think it's fine. Like in League of Legends, for example, like has relatively sexual content with like police officer Caitlyn, and I don't know if you guys.
Jesus Christ, he's just going off.
If you guys have played League, but my point is, I don't think that's
you're right.
I don't think that's like a bad thing because Riot is like making it kind of like a sexual thing, but Dota is not a sexual game at all.
Yes,
and I think the people who make it sexual are like really, it's like a stretch, and it's really weird and distasteful. Do you have anything?
It's like Depraved
about this?
Yes,
it's like incel-ish.
Yes, exactly. Because exactly what you said. Where Dota isn't like sexualized content compared to League. League is like kind of blatantly.
Or other games in general.
Yes, so it's more deranged to like sexualize something that's not sexual at all. Like fucking people are like sexualizing like Enchantress or some shit. It's like, dude, what is wrong with you, man? Or like Hoodwink. It's like, Jesus Christ. Honestly. And this is going to be weird because dude, it's like 60 or 70% of profiles. Like it's like
Yeah,
the
it's a lot.
majority. And like
I
you
don't
said, a
like
lot of them
it.
are my friends. So like, sorry to police your behavior. You can do what you want. But like, I feel like we're just taking it outside the game because there's no negative implications on the game. Like it reduces my humanity to see that shit. Another thing is that the mini profiles in the corner of your fucking screen every time you log into Dota, and it's like Ench getting like Spirit Breaker ulted on cooldown. Like, dude, holy fuck. Like I become a worse human looking at that shit. It's just so depraved. We got to cut that shit out, guys. We gotta cut that shit out.
I think sorry, I cut you off. My bad. But another important point that I wanted to get out here is that there are layers to this, right? Like if your profile is just like the Co-op Arcana loading screen, like we get it, like she's hot, like that is I don't want to say it's like fine because you're still like sexualizing it, but it's like a lot better than, for example, there's like a Bane's Fiend's Grip animation
that's
where
like
he has
level
like
1.
he has like both of his hands up, and then there'll be like a character.
It's the cheese taunt. It's the cheese taunt, dude. I've seen this on like every profile.
With their boobs out or something, and the Bane will be like reaching
Fiend's
his hands
gripping
up and, like, looking
like
up and,
dude.
Come on,
man.
Come on. It's just like so brutal. I don't know.
Like,
it's like
I don't know.
self behavior. I don't like it. And I have a lot of like friends who are girls who I play Dota with. Like, what do they think about this guy? I mean, I don't know.
And they're in the party with these people.
Yeah,
like we got to stop. No, exactly. That's what I was gonna say as well. Is it's a bad look on literally everyone in the party because you're associating with this guy.
Yeah,
and he's got fucking Bane, Fiend's Grip, and Wind. Like, dude, I just find it depraved. Where it's like, holy shit, I can't hold back. It's wind. It's wind. It's like, dude, it's just fucking wind. Like fully, like you're just freaky.
Yeah,
you're freaky for that.
As a community, we need to like check ourselves and
start just, shaming that shit. To be honest,
realize what we're doing. Yeah, start shaming it is a good way
to not shame it is like to accept it or normalize it, and it's just not normal human behavior. I think as well. Just another thing relating to the League example is that I think League has a younger fan base. So like when people have like edgy jokes or they're like doing that stuff, like maybe it's just like some kids, right? Some teens, or it's just less mature people. But like, dude, if you're like the older Dota heads who've been playing for like 15 years and you're like 30 years old and your Fiend's gripping Wind, it's like dude, come on. Like I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you for that. Like I'm showing up at your door. Stop. Arteezy was literally talking about this on the stream, which was super validating because you and me have talked about this a lot. And it's like, are we just like in the minority here? But it's literally like on the Arteezy one, it's like a mini profile and it's just zoomed in, like, or like expanded so that it was CM without any cosmetics. So it's like base like 2 polygon CM. It's like the ugliest shit you've ever seen in your life. And it's just zoomed in of her chest. And Arteezy, he had like more heinous wording than like what we're saying. He's like, you guys need to cut out this incel virgin shit. Like this is just so fucking.
Honestly, it is though. Like I feel like the people who are doing that like just don't have sex lives like or anything. You know,
it's just so strange. It's so strange, and it's like it's not. And what he said was also true. It's like it's not even hot. It's some fucking disgusting CM. And like I agree. Like dude, it's like 3 polygons, and you got that shit zoomed up on your profile. Like holy shit, CM. I'm gonna. It's like dude, it's not hot. And you're just weird. You're weird. And
like I said before, I don't know if I might get canceled for saying this, but I think it's better if like what you're displaying is inherently sexualized. Like for example, the Co-op Arcana loading screen, like Valve obviously like intended that to be like attractive. Like she's wearing.
You're not weird for finding Co-op hot. You're weird for fucking putting Wind Ranger's feet like on the fucking like in your profile.
Or like hoodwink like bending over.
Yeah, exactly. Like then I really hate giving the examples, but like then you're weird.
Yeah, no, I do. I feel like we're gonna get like shadow banned on YouTube for saying some of this.
I know,
it's
seriously.
Really bad. It's really bad.
God. Exactly. It's so bad. It's so bad. And dude, people get too creative with it too. And on the contrary, I see some mini profiles that I love that give me inspiration when it's like just a sick loading screen. It's like Magnus like standing on the moon about
that
RP
one's really
universe.
Good. I know who you're
that
talking
one's so
about.
good.
Shout
Yeah,
out Iro. That one's good.
Yes, dude, that one like I don't know, that inspires me every time I see it. Or like I'm trying to have more inspirational profiles. I have like the spirits right now. It's a really nice loading screen.
Yeah, no, I like that framework for designing profiles, like making, because you see, like you said, you see it in the corner of the screen every time you log in. So it should be something that like gives you energy and like makes you inspired to play or something. Like for me, I just discovered recently there's a anti-mage persona animation where she's like meditating, and I find that one really cool. And
yeah,
I use
exactly.
That, and it's really unique. But maybe, hey, who are we to say? Maybe like hoodwink bending over gives these people energy.
Dude, I hope not.
Maybe it does.
We got to lock them up.
I was about to shout someone out by name, but I'm not going to.
No, yeah. If that giving you energy, like I don't know, we got to lock you up. We got an insane asylum for you.
I'm kind of afraid that this is going to be hit with like backlash, and I think that's like that's a red flag, or like I shouldn't.
It's our opinion, guys. All right, like
it.
if you disagree, it's all good.
Yeah, if you disagree,
wrong,
why do you disagree?
bastard.
What do you love that shit? Like I just want to hear it. I'm genuinely curious about why.
And also, like, not to police, because I'm once again not to police like what people are putting in their profile. Maybe you don't need the epic inspiration Magnus, like fucking standing there looking epic or some shit. And you just want to like bitmax and like have a funny profile, and like that's cool for you.
Oh yeah, sorry. Finish your thought.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think a lot of the people do it just because they think it's like funny, and that's like their humor.
Sure.
Which, in that case, I mean, the intention doesn't matter as much as like the action, in my opinion. But still, I think a lot of people like they don't view it as just like being really weird. That's just like the way they talk and interact with their other incel friends,
which is like not a good look. Which is the problem, right? Like when you have someone like that in your party, like it looks bad on you. That's another thing, just in general, somewhat removed from the incel profiles. People are really lenient about who they invite into their party.
Party queue whores.
Yes. Like that's so much better.
That was a better way to put it. What do you mean?
Sure. He said something really heinous before, in case you guys weren't aware. But yeah, it's just it's a reflection. Dude, the camera's like followed you. That's crazy.
Dude, it's fire.
Anyways, yeah, a little camera intermission. Yeah. They're really lenient about who they invite on their party, and not, once again, there's like Dota implications as well. Like if you're lenient about who you invite into your party, then a lot of the time, like if there's negative game quality or like you have high skill disparity, it's like it's your fault if you like crafted the party and like that consistently happens. It's like you're bad. And like I think people are just too lenient about who they invite into the party. They party queue with 1 million people. They don't even know these people. Then that guy like freaks on you, and it's weird because he's in your party. So there's like some social friction. But also removing it from that, I think the people in your party just reflect negatively or positively on you. Like when you have some guy that like runs down mid in your game, or like, sorry, I have like people on my friends list and they literally, dude, your fucking camera's distracting me. Anyway, no, you're good. When you have someone in your party, like I literally have friends on my, people on my friends list, and they have someone who's not on my friends list for obvious reasons. And he like literally like runs down mid and like all chats and like breaks his items and shit. It's like, now I feel worse about the other people in the party because it's like, and then they queued up again with him. I'm like, dude, kill that man.
Yeah, exactly. It's really weird. Like, I think a lot of it comes from like social friction of like denying somebody or saying no. But in my experience, it also goes past that, and it actually affects my play a little bit, queuing with like party queuing with people who I don't know super well, because I have like a pretty Sigma mentality. If you're a regular on this channel, you know one of my like biggest commandments is mute early and often, and I really follow that. But it feels much more heinous, and there's a lot more friction for me, and I think about it more muting somebody who's in my party, because I feel like an obligation to work together with them and try to like go for the plays they want to go for, because I'm used to party queuing with like you or like Rambo, and I know and like I trust you guys as players. But when somebody's like in my party and I don't know
me before.
Yeah, well, only for a few minutes. When you're like,
which is fair. No,
when
I'm not taking offense. Yeah, I'm not taking offense at all.
But I feel much weirder like muting people in my party, and I feel much more inclined to like go for their dog shit plays. Whereas when it's a random, I have no remorse. I mute them. I go Sigma mode. I play my Dota. I only go for my plays. And those games feel so good. They feel better than like a regular win when I have a teammate like screaming into the mic and I mute them and I just play my Dota and they're feeding and I end up carrying the game. I love those experiences. But if it's
those are my favorite games.
If it's somebody in your party, again, there's this like expectation that they're gonna like play okay, or like not even like perform well, but just like collaborating with you.
Sure. I also have another thing about that I think is relevant is when, okay, just to use some anecdotal examples, but like when you have terrible teammates, we had this Legion, and I mean it's like party queue, so like it's like this like immortal dude's queuing with like his Archon friend, and I didn't know this, right? But and like I didn't flame the Legion, it's all good, I'm not like being freaky, but I like smoke the Legion or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, like duel this guy, and he just like stands there with his blink dagger and like eats glue. And it's like, if that guy's in my party, I'm gonna be like, listen, man, like next time you gotta blink in there, you gotta press duel, you gotta do all the shit, because like maybe I'm gonna queue with this guy again. So like I feel this obligation to collaborate where like, okay, we need to remedy this problem. But like I see my Legion like literally like sniffing markers and shit like in game, and I'm just like mute, like holy shit, he's an animal. And then I just like lock in extra hard because I'm like, this guy is so bad, I need to like carry really hard. I don't be like, Legion, duel him. It's like, okay, this guy's never gonna duel again. But like, if it's in my party, I'm like, yo, next time let's do this. Like,
and that takes away from you thinking about Dota, because you're like trying to micromanage him and telling him how to play. Whereas I feel like, I mean, this problem could in theory be remedied if we just like went extra sigma like on our party mates, but it just feels harder socially to do that. It just because it feels like I'm just being an asshole if I like mute my party and I don't want to be I don't like communicate with them, and I'm not like trying to be like that. So it's better to just not party with them is a point that I want to make, or at least for me. I mean, obviously it's a personal preference.
Yeah.
So some people before have interpreted things I say on this channel as like the law, all right, and they like get mad and they give like, so they say some mean comments.
Really? Jesus.
Yeah, I made a short about like sweating and being really competitive, and people were like, oh, it's a personal problem, and you're expressing it by telling us how to play the game. And I was like, oh,
exactly.
All right.
I mean, we've related. Yeah, we're not here to police anyone's behavior.
Yeah, no, everything I say is an opinion.
It's strange. I feel like people take offense, which is, I mean, maybe there is some offense. Fine. It's not meant to be offense, right? It's just like, it's because people are just other people are so open to just like inviting everyone to the party. So it's like, it must be so heinous if you don't want to play, but like getting random teammates is pretty chill, to be honest. Cause it's like, it mixes up the experience every game.
Yeah, no, it makes it fun. Like, I don't know if I'm going to get somebody who's like trying or first of all, if you play with like the same people a lot, they play the same heroes, so you like get used to playing with the same heroes.
Yeah, I don't like
sometimes
that.
Like, or like not sometimes, all the time, randoms will pick like random heroes, and sometimes it's cool to play with different heroes. And I think the like casino element of it makes it. Oh, I just realized I cut you off again. Sorry. The casino,
I didn't care.
The casino element of it makes it fun. Like sometimes this guy is just gonna feed, and I'm gonna have to carry his ass. Other times he's gonna like do decent, and sometimes he'll carry me. You know,
it's really hype, to be honest. It's really hype when you have a random who like is doing air the entire game, literally doing nothing, and then he like hits a fat axe call, and you're like, holy shit, it's axe!
No,
it's axe!
It is. I love that.
Like, that's what we've been waiting for, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. And then he types up, he hits you with a laugh. Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, my guy who I've played a million games with did the exact same thing he does every game. It's like, whoa, that was right. I guess.
Now we're talking about a different topic, which is like talking about or like playing with the same people a lot, which I think they're
habits.
Yeah, I mean it builds bad habits, but because you rely on them. That's one point. That wasn't the point I wanted to make, but it is like a crutch. I mean, I definitely feel crutch playing with you some of the time because you like gank my lane a lot and stuff, and then when I play alone, it's like I don't have that to rely on. But yeah, that's another topic. I was gonna say it can be positive too, because you and I have like 2,000 something games together. I don't even know.
Yeah, some ridiculous number.
I think it's over, which is ridiculous. And I feel like we've gotten like compound interest on playing with each other so much. So now we just have a lot of like a lot of synergy, like more than most Dota players.
Yeah, even outside of performance, also like improvement. Like it's parallel learning, which is like you're just learning something to get. Yeah, exactly. I forgot the term for a sec, but we're basically just learning something together, which compounds it because like we can talk about it and compare and like learn different things, and then like we both reap the benefits of what we're learning.
We're learning for each other. We're learning from each other's mistakes as well.
Exactly.
I think that situation or this like Dota relationship that we have is really good because we're like we're not like egoed up when we talk to each other, and we just like talk about our mistakes and
it's easy to get egoed up sometimes.
And the point with parallel learning is we learn much faster because we're learning together and we're like talking through these things than if you were to learn alone.
The Grubster made a video about 7.36. That's hype.
He's back,
dude. People hate on Grubby so much. I love Grubby.
Yeah, me too.
He was right, to be honest.
I really like his mindset. I mean, I don't really know where the hate like came from. He made a personal decision to like stop playing the game, and everyone's like, he's so soy, like it bad.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they're projecting their insecurity onto him. That's all.
What's like, their insecurity?
That they're toxic, and that
they're
projecting that they're projecting. Sorry, that's what they would think. Is that like the game's so fucking hard and he just couldn't take it, and I take it so well in Archon when like my teammates flame me, and in reality like they're just insecure about their skill. And what he said in the video that he originally made was really relevant, that these people are just like afraid of failure, and that's why they're toxic. And like he was just he like literally hit the nail on the head basically, and that's why people dislike him. The truth, like, no, you're wrong, it's because he's soy. But it's like, no, he just has actual clear boundaries about like it's his job, right? Like he streams, he's a variety streamer, he streams all sorts of shit. And it's like, if he's just having a toxic experience and he loves the game, but like he doesn't enjoy the streaming experience, it's like, yeah, I don't want to play this shit. Why bother?
Yeah, the truth is Dota would be a much better game if the community wasn't like they are at the MMR where he's at and above. And for some context, Grubby is this person who is he was the best Warcraft, right? Warcraft is the game.
He's like
Warcraft 3 or Warcraft?
8 times Warcraft 3. It's like a strategy game.
Yeah, he's the best, and he came to Dota, and he's a really good personality, like very popular content creator. And he improved really fast. He went from like Herald to Immortal in I want to say like a year or under or something, which is just crazy speed. And he made a decision to quit the game because he just didn't like the experience in his ranked games. That's it. And he got a lot of hate for it. The Twitch chat experience. Interesting. I didn't really realize that was a part of it.
Yeah, because
okay, so we didn't like the Dota community.
Yeah, exactly. Which basically. I think is like he cooked.
But he came back. Yeah, sorry, but he came back, and I think Dota's such a good game. And I said this like years ago too, where just the fundamental of it being a good game is going to carry it like throughout the years. Like I don't think it's going to die anytime soon. It's just so good. Like Grubby's back. He's back. He said he was quitting. Look at him now.
Well,
he couldn't resist the facets.
He was just talking about, which I love. He was talking about how Valve is incredibly based for what they did with Dota 2, which I agree with, where other games don't get patches like 7.36. They don't have things that change the whole game. They get like minor, like people are like, oh, these other companies care so much more about their game, but it's like, oh my God, they got like -1 base damage, level 1, League of Legends, holy bet. Like that's so fucking hype or some bullshit.
Yeah.
But like Valve's
back,
like,
though. We'll be back.
Yeah. But it's like, damn, like, here's our yearly patch, and it's Dota 3, and it's like I love that shit. Like Valve is fucking sick.
Yeah, they keep it really fresh.
Yeah, another thing, just a little bit more about the Grubby thing, but because I was saying that people are like projecting their insecurity, and it's also their insecurity about their skill. Where like, for example, he climbed to Immortal in a year, and he got a lot of coaching from pros and personalities, and people are like, yeah, like it's to be expected if you get coached by No Tail and Seb, and it's like, dude, but it's right there on YouTube. But it's right there on YouTube, and you can watch it. So like, why are you Herald and dog shit then, right?
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
Asshole. Just honestly, like, shut the fuck up, dude.
No, that's a great. Oh, did you want to say something more?
No, that's it.
In the spirit of not cutting each other off. In the spirit of your passive ums that make you think you're gonna keep talking.
Sorry. Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, hey, my bad. We're improved. This is replay review.
Social replay review.
Yeah,
podcast social replay review.
Yeah, I just hate fucking backseat like insecurity projecting low skill Twitch chat that just like has to like put down these players because they're just insecure in their own skill. Like if you're comfortable in your skill, you don't need to like put down this new player because it's like, yeah, he's fucking new, and he's like getting better than like half of Twitch chat. Assholes. What
I wanted to say to your point about all the coaching videos being out there in public, like if you really want to improve at Dota, all the resources are out there. But I think it's a lot more boring than a lot of people expect. Like sometimes it can feel like work to some people. It doesn't for me. I enjoy watching my replays and watching pro replays. And I honestly talking about this makes me think I should do it more. I feel like a lot of people in real life, they say like reading is really good and like healthy for your brain. And like you read and it just like improves your cognition and like everything, like a lot of meta skills. And I think that's like the equivalent of that in Dota is like watching replays of pro players in pubs. Or watching your own replays and thinking of ways you could do better. And there's so many good resources on YouTube. Like the first is Crabby Dota, this channel. It's so good for improving.
Probably the best.
The best. But
there's some other decent ones.
Yeah, some other decent ones like BSJ. I'm not gonna like list them all off, but the resources are there for you to just grab if you really want to improve. And I guess the hard part is applying it to your games, which I actually think is kind of hard because I think a lot of people try to do too much at once. But if you pick one skill and you hone in on it, that's what works for me. Or for me, I have 3. I actually have this whiteboard. This is kind of new development, so I'm excited to share it. But I have right outside my computer, so I don't know if it's reversed, but my 3 points I'm working on now are lane equilibrium, manta use, and efficiency TP 10 minutes in. I'm not going to go in and, I mean, you guys know what lane equilibrium and like manta use means, but I'm not going to go into what the efficiency TP means because that would just be like kind of a rabbit hole.
It's your thing.
It's my thing. Yeah.
But, you're gatekeeping it. No. I just meant it's like, people figure it out.
If you want to know, leave a comment and I'll let you know. But I'm happy to share anything. I also think I don't know if people gatekeep Dota knowledge. Some do, but that's another topic. I have this whiteboard right next to my computer, and so I'm forced to see it.
Acknowledge the error of your ways.
It's been helping because it's not there. Out of sight, out of mind, I think is pretty real.
I think people just try to do too much at once, and the reason why is they don't realize that improving at Dota is a marathon, not a sprint. And if you find improving at small things to be a chore, like maybe improving at Dota just isn't for you, and that's just how it is, and that's all good, right? You don't have to. But like if you want to actually improve at Dota, you need to revel in the fact that like I did some CS trainer and my CS was so good today, or like
my average play was 0.05 faster.
Exactly, or like I added a new aggro technique, or like with you, it's like my lane equilibrium was so smurf. Like it's not just like wow, like I watched a game leap top 10 like tricks to get out of like no flame. I also love like
told me to pick Jug. Yeah, speed is great. Speed's one of my favorite.
No, his content's fantastic, and he makes it so accessible.
Which might be a hot take, but I love Speed.
Yeah, there's a lot of hate for game leap randomly as well, but like he makes stuff so accessible for lower MMRs. But like you're not gonna watch like the 10 hottest new heroes of the patch, and it's like holy shit, I'm fucking 10k. It's like that's not why you're bad, right? It's a million small things, and so you need to revel in improving one small thing, over the course of a week, or like et cetera, et cetera. Like it's a marathon, and that's what's Dota is just such a complex game. That's what's cool about it. So if you don't enjoy that, if you find it to be a chore, because people also, a lot of IRL friends ask me, yo, can we do some replay review? Or, I mean, that's like the big one. Or like after a game, they'll ask me like, what do you think, etc. And then a lot of it's the same advice. And my advice, they interpret it as boring. I'm like, oh, we'll watch a replay. And I'm like, yeah, you need to work on your laning. You should do some 1v1s, or like, yeah, you're just CSing bad, or you're aggroing poorly. Or they won't watch a replay. Just like, what should I do? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, I would have to watch a pro replay and then your replay and like compare to figure out. And they're just like, oh, so I'm like, yeah, you should do that shit. And they're like, yeah. And then they don't do it, right? So
they're like, yeah. Let's play though. Let's queue it up.
Which is chill. Like if that's what you want, but like if you want to improve, I'm telling you it's straightforward. It's not easy. It's straightforward. Like, and if you want to put in that work, it's all good. But like, that's how you improve. It's straightforward. You just got to work on these small things, and people find it boring.
Yeah. It's
About
not
everything
sexy.
I got on that.
But I think like doing anything worth doing in general isn't going to be like sexy. And if it is, it's probably not like super worth doing in this context, like grinding at. But yeah, another thing that relates that I wanted to talk about is, and maybe we've talked about this before on a podcast, but this is a problem I have as a player a lot in games where I'm emotionally invested in. So multiple games fall in this criteria. You have party queue games where I'm against like people I know who I like have like rivalries with or something.
It's like a friendly rivalry, guys. Sometimes.
No, if you're watching this and you're my rival, I'm just kidding. But or if there's a really high rank on my team, like rank 10 on my team, and I know they're like rank 10, and I want to like perform well. Or if I'm playing ranked, I have this like psychological problem with ranked where I'm like really emotionally invested in every game. But anyway, if I'm emotionally invested in the game, I feel like a lot of people relate to this. I'm curious if you can, Pyne.
Yes, I do.
Wait, what was my original point? It's not just going to be that I play. Oh yeah, I try to do too much in the game, and I end up playing a lot worse. Like I try to go past the boundaries of my hero. As an example, on a carry, when if it's just like a regular old pub, I just be like farming. But in one of these games, I'll like try to go fight, or like, which is an example of like doing too much, or I'll try to siege a tower too early, and I just won't chill. Do you relate to that? I feel like people would.
Yes. I mean, I actually don't do this as much in ranked. I do this when I'm beefing with the enemy team. Is that I like just freak on the fucking, because the way you do it as a mid is like I hate some guy on the enemy team, and I like dive his ass under his tower into 5 heroes, like trade 1 for 1, and it's like just the freakiest behavior of all time.
Yeah, it's not good Dota.
But I do relate. Or another one is like I lane really poorly sometimes if I'm like stressing about like whatever, if I'm emotionally invested in like the outcome of my lane, especially if it's like a stressful matchup. Like I'm against like some fucking Viper or some shit, and I like know the other player, and I'm like, dude, like this is just fucking, or like Shadow Fiend. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like I don't want to be Shadow Fiend by this freaky bastard. But yeah, I relate to it a lot, and doing too much. I just think I'm not clear-headed, and like that's what makes it so bad. Is I'm busy focusing on whatever emotional aspect I have in the game. Oh, I want to win because it's a ranked game, or oh, I want to win because this guy fed in my last game on the enemy team and I want to beat him so bad. And then I'm busy thinking about that. Like I want to beat him so bad. And I'm not like playing Dota 2, which is a common theme when we talk about a lot of these things, if you're crashing out or you're emotionally invested, or a lot of the mental stuff we talked about before on the podcast is like, the reason why that stuff is so bad is that you're not playing Dota 2, and Dota 2 is a game that requires 100% of your concentration at all times. There's downtime in the game, but there's always something you can be thinking about to improve your performance. And if that's what you're optimizing for, then this is the reality. It's like you need to be thinking about all these things constantly during the game, and anything that you're thinking about outside the game, like social dynamics and all this shit, or just like being stressed or anxious or whatever, is just taking away from actually playing. Like you don't have time to think about that stuff.
Yeah. I think that's what it comes down to. When you're thinking about things that are outside the game, you're not clear-headed about the game because you're not thinking properly, and that manifests itself in different ways for different people. And for me, I will, if I'm like playing brainless Dota, I'll just make mindless plays for no reason, and I will try to do too much. And when I'm really thinking about it, I'm just much more disciplined. But I also just thought that I don't think we wrapped up the crashing out point really nicely. And
just to tie it back to the beginning of the podcast right here.
Yeah, it all comes together. But it's bad. And obviously, like, I'm striving to crash out less because it just leads to me playing really bad and losing a lot of games that I would win if I just like was locked in. I might have said this earlier, but it takes a lot of discipline for me not to crash out. And I think that, or consistency in general, is a really important, or probably like the most important factor of getting high MMR. You can't just like play like a 9K player one game. You need to do it across, you know, hundreds of games, and crashing out just leads to such gross inconsistency. But it's a muscle is what I'm saying. Like, it's hard for me sometimes not to crash out, and it takes discipline and like mental fortitude. And my thought here isn't super articulated because I'm still dealing with it presently, and I'm trying not to like crash out in more games. But I think it relates to being jaded. So like the more jaded I am, the more, if I don't actually want to play Dota, I'm more likely to crash out.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with that, especially. It's just the opposite. Like when you're doing that, it's just the opposite of like playing for the love of the game, which is the state I'm in when I'm like really not jaded and I'm just excited to like play some patch, play some Dota. And it's just like, or I'm like outcome focused. I'm emotionally invested. All these things lead to me like focusing on something other than just like enjoying playing Dota 2, which is why we all play. Right. I'd hope. BSJ released a nice video a couple days ago because the patch has been out for like 5 or 6 days, right?
Sorry to interrupt, but I love how he's making videos from the tournament. He's like on his MacBook, like on a laptop, like really bad camera. He's in like a dark hotel room. What's up, guys? I'm making videos on the patch. I'm from where is it right now?
I have no idea. Well, Dream League, I don't know where they record it. It's an online league, right?
Oh yeah, true.
They have a studio.
I'm calling in from the stew. Like, it's cool. But anyway,
exactly.
Point.
No, it's really sick. It just goes to show how passionate the Dota players are about the patch. You had a really nice short, just as an aside, about like how the Dota patch brings everyone together, and I really feel that. Where like,
it's Dota Christmas.
Okay, well, I have another point actually, but it relates to this, so I'm just gonna get it out now. Which is Rambo said this, and I agree. Something I really like about the patch is I see so many new players on my friends list or in my pubs coming back, and like faces I haven't seen before. And Valve does a really good job catering to that casual audience. Because like these people on my friends list who play, like they aren't like passionate improvers, Dota ranked spammers. They just like used to play in middle school with us and like we're friends, and like they just fucking queue that shit up now. And I'm like, I think that's awesome that like those people can still have Dota be part of their lives. They come back just for the patch, they play it for a few weeks and they're off it, which is cool. Like they don't need to
Valve
spam
strikes
it.
a really good balance. Like the facets in the innates, it's really great for the casual players because it's like kind of League of Legendsified, but also the like hardcore Dota heads like it too. It's the best of both worlds.
It's a fucking Dota holiday. It's beautiful, and I love all the new faces as well because I don't know if I want to get into this too much, but I really dislike, and some people will like this, I really dislike recognizing everybody in every single pub. I'm tired of it, to be honest.
It's only in norms for me. I don't really recognize them in ranked. It's just in norms.
If I played more ranked, I'm sure I would, but I just don't like it because I don't know, it's a whole rabbit hole. But I don't like having to like people are like all chatting each other. I'm here for the Dota. Like I enjoy the people as well. I have a lot of people on my friends list, but I'm here for the Dota. And sometimes when you recognize someone every single game, it's similar dynamics, similar heroes.
They pick similar heroes. Chatting. You like know what heroes they're gonna pick. Yeah.
It like gets
I really like the anonymity of just like not seeing people.
Exactly.
I feel like maybe this is specific to like the US East and West like Immortal norm bracket. Smaller. I think that's small. I think most Immortal players are playing ranked, and not many people are Immortal like in general. So it's just you're bound to see the same people.
Yeah. And some people like it. They're like, oh, it's so cool that you like recognize people every pub. I'm like, dude, it's fucking nightmare is what it
It was
is.
cool
Like,
at first for me, and then now I feel like it's like obviously this is not the same at all, but a lot of famous people are like you really value or you don't value privacy until you don't have it. It's like
mhm.
similar. Like you think it's cool and then it's your life and then you're like, "Oh, this actually is
So like,
cool."
oh, what's up, Pyne? And
And
then they
I
pick
can't go back.
Bloodseeker, and I'm
Yeah,
cooked.
against your Pango.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, all right, well, we fucking lost. I guess
Yeah.
like I'm just cooked. Oh, but okay, back to what I was saying, which was BSJ made a nice video, which I think is super relevant because it's not about the patch, and I don't think I'm here to talk about specifics. But it was about people's relation to the patch, and I struggled with this. Where I also saw the sentiment, which I don't agree with, that people are overwhelmed by the patch. I guess it's a lot of content,
No, it's
but
overwhelming. And
it's
sorry
the
to
same Dota.
say a point for a
Yeah,
second. You and I like consume the information really fast. Like not like
yeah.
actually fast, but we'll like just spend like hours straight reading the patch when it comes out, and we'll like spend the whole next day like thinking about it and stuff. I think if you don't do that, like it can be overwhelming. I
Exactly. No, yeah. No, I totally get it, especially for the casual audience, but like I guess that's part of the fun. But his point that I really enjoyed was when it comes to the patch and your relation to the patch, first off, he was like just focusing on your hero, mastering your hero, and accepting the fact that you're gonna die to some shit that you don't understand. Like even and people in general are overwhelmed subconsciously or consciously because they don't know the information. But like for example, the example that BSJ used was like pure is just like showing on a creep wave with 5 enemy heroes missing and like farming it really slow and just like hitting that shit is tiny and he just like disgustingly feeds. And yeah, he's probably thinking like I'm playing this new tiny carry, like I need like these items and like the insurmountable and all this shit. So it's like or you just don't know what heroes do. Like you're gonna die to some freaky shit. Like sometimes I don't know, I see like Lion like glowing randomly. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like I don't know what the hell's happening in this patch. And that's okay. Like you should just focus on learning things one at a time, focusing on your hero. But the other thing that I found I related to heavily, this wasn't directly said in his, but I had this thought is when it comes to patches in general, this is my take on relationship with patches, and we've discussed this. You should be very open to trying meta, trying new things. And on the contrary, you can't be too attached to what you used to enjoy in Dota. And this was me with Pango. Pango is fucking like he's stinky, man. He's nasty. He sucks. He doesn't actually suck, but it's just not the same hero it used to be. It doesn't feel the same. And if I am too attached to what I used to enjoy about Pango, oh, like the swash used to feel so much better and shit. It's like it ain't coming back, bro. Like this is life now, and you just have to accept that. And on the contrary, if you're too attached to what you used to play, what you used to like, or then you just miss out on adding meta stuff to the pool, which is so enjoyable. Like whenever you play meta, I played like this gyro support with the fucking movement speed facet, and this is a blast. I played this like new Weaver support, literally my first.
I don't even think
the
ever. Gyro support is meta, but yeah.
Only Falcons was picking it and it got nerfed anyways. But and then there's like this Weaver support shit, but like it's not meta. It's just like new stuff that's like kind of in right now, and it's so fun. It feels smooth to play these new heroes that are like kind of good compared to like
it also makes you a bit. I cut you off because you talked for like 2 minutes straight, but
yeah, you're
which
good.
is fine.
That was
but it also makes you a better Dota player. And I feel like most people watching this and most Dota players in general are not hero specialists. They're like fill players who pick every hero, which that's another topic, which I actually want to talk about now that I mentioned fill players. But if you're a fill player, you're probably dog shit. If I ask you what role you main and you say, oh, I can play any role, like you just cannot, with the amount of time
you
the
can't
average
play any
player
role
spends on Dota, you cannot play any role because it's fine. That was fine. You that like wasn't cutting me off because you're like hyping
I threw it in.
You know? You're like my cheerleader. You're like, yeah, like you can't. Like they can't do that
shit.
It's
so bad.
Exactly. No, like tell him, Crabby.
Tell him,
but
Arteezy.
I think there's just way too like every role is such a deep rabbit hole, and you need to specialize to play one the best. And I mean, I think some players can fill. Like if you have 20k hours on Dota, you can probably fill better than the person with 10k hours. But that was just my little aside about fill players. Do you agree?
Yes. It's specifically, it's not the fact that players can't fill, it's that a lot of people like present themselves as fill players. Like you ask them for a main role and they're like, I don't really main a role. Okay, so like you're just shit, man. You're bad at all of them is what you are. Yeah, because obviously it's like, I think I can play a nice support or a nice off lane. My carry's stinky, but I can play like some nice roles, but mid's my main role. Like if someone asks me like, what do I play? It's like, I play mid, but I'm down to play other shit. Like I enjoy Dota. I love Dota. So Yeah, some players literally just say like, I don't know, and then you check their match history and they don't have like a single hero twice in a row or twice on their match history. It's like, dude, this guy's gonna suck, and they suck.
Yeah. I remember I got into that because I was talking about how I think most players are like that and they're less like hero specialists. But to the like hero, and I would consider myself like a light hero specialist. I pick a pool per patch and I like just spam 5 heroes, but I don't have like you're a Pango specialist for sure. You're level 30 Pango. I don't have any level 30 heroes yet. But I do tend to play some heroes a lot, like the same, like 3 to 5. And this patch, I embraced the mentality of like, let me just try to switch it up completely. And already I've seen improvement in like my general Dota play. Picking new heroes and playing meta makes you a better Dota player in the long haul. This relates to when you were saying improving is a marathon, not a sprint. Because I mean, a lot of people probably know this, but it's super real. Like when you play a hero, that's the best way to learn how to beat them quickly. It's so different than playing against them, even like 50 games. When you play them, you will learn like what makes those heroes feed really, really fast. And it makes you a more well-rounded player. And like in your specific role, if you cycle through heroes with patches, eventually in a few years, your hero pool is just going to be like most of them, right? Because you just cycle through the meta heroes and you spend time specializing on them, and it's super based.
Yeah. And the best time to learn it is when it's meta, because not only is it the strongest, but you like really get to see the strengths of that hero. And it also helps you in the immediate short term, because if you play meta, you learn to beat immediate meta. And it's always interesting when stuff comes back to meta, because I remember when Dusa was meta, this happened where like everyone's like, holy shit, how do you beat Dusa? It's so broken, which it was obnoxious. But like, the stuff that countered Dusa years ago still counters Dusa now, and then people realize like, oh, you pick Brew, you throw her up, or you buy 7 halberds and fucking throw her ass up and like disarm her 7 times and kite her.
You kill her whole team.
And like now you know, like if you start playing Dusa on the OP Dusa patch, like and you like lose some games to that shit, it's like, okay, I know now. And relating back to meta, I think this is something that you and me have both struggled with. But I have like an anecdotal evidence, or I have an anecdotal example, which is because I'm doing the opposite now. I'm trying to be more open about what I play. And before, I would have preconceived notions about the type of heroes I should or shouldn't play. For example, my most recent one has been Invoker that I like overcame, where I never thought of myself as an Invoker player, though I played a lot of Invoker as a kid, but I always just like was stinky. And I just played him for fun. And I wasn't a mid player back then. So I just found him cool. But I always thought like he's just like such a hero, specialist hero, and I'm never going to be an Invoker player. And so I had this label on it that I shouldn't play Invoker because I'm not an Invoker player. And then now he's my 3rd most played, and I just started spamming him because I just dropped the preconceived notion. It's like, I'll just play Invoker, and like if I stink, I fucking stink, and I just want to play the guy. And I think that's you recently with TA, because it's also like a very hero specialist hero. And it's
I mostly played melee carries in the past, like bruiser, like kind of tanky guys. So the like drows and the TAs are like pretty new to me. But yeah, I've been playing TA in the patch and I really enjoy it, and it makes Dota feel very fresh and good.
Yeah, exactly. Another one for me that I always think I shouldn't play is Lesh. Like I'm not a Lesh player, and that's like a massive mid hero. Like there's a lot of staple Lesh players. And I haven't overcame that one. I don't fucking play Lesh.
Lesh just feels so damn stable, bro. Like I feel like if you're a mid player, you need a Lesh. He's just so stable and he's so sturdy. Such a sturdy hero. He always gets his farm. You know, he stands his ground in the fights. Lesh feels bad when you can't stand your ground and you just die. Yeah, that's why I think he's hard, because you need to know your limit. Really,
he's just not this. Well. He's not this giga ganker, which is usually what I play. I play like Primal Beast, Earth Spirit, Pangos, but. Dude, I had a nightmare game against Lesh where like I ganked. This is like a Lesh classic where I ganked, and so I'm low resources, like walking back through the river, and it's nighttime, and then boom, I turn a corner and there's Lesh melee range on me, and he just like freaks on me with all his spells, and I die to Lesh. I'm like, this AFK bot's just like waiting for me to walk through the river, but like he cooked on the Lesh. I walk out and I just like am in edict fucking or whatever his ult's called, and I'm just like completely cooked. But yeah, so that's an example of a hero where I still haven't overcame that, where I just every single patch, no matter what, I'm always like, I shouldn't play Lesh, and he's good now, and he has a lot of patches where he's good with like the Bloodstone shit. And I just, if I took the time to learn him on one of those meta patches, like I would have a Lesh, and I would have a lot of fun playing it.
Yeah.
So
now you don't have a Lesh. No Leshes.
No Leshes. No Lesh? Exactly. Enemy team picks Naga.
Really?
I'm cooked.
Really? Yeah. No Lesh, dude, from my mid. You fucking serious?
No, honestly though, just like for example, I was watching a Dream League game and they picked Naga, and they're like, they got a Lesh here, they got a Lesh, and the guy wasn't a Lesh player. I forgot who it was.
No,
I think
Lesh.
it was like, Yeah, and it was like no Leshes, and then they did pick Lesh, and like that's me. I go against Naga, I'm like, it's time for Ember Spirit, which is pretty good, but it's like then the Naga like puts me in like the net Orchid, and I like get destroyed, and it's like Lesh would just like fucking Giga Stomp that guy. Great hero, but yeah, I have this like label that I'm putting on him about what I should and shouldn't play, and that just relates to being open about what you play, being open to trying new things. It's just fun to try the new cool stuff in the meta instead of like, okay, it's another patch, I'm going to play the exact same hero, which I do play a lot of the same heroes, but like
being a specific hero specialist is still pretty based though. Like I think the balance is what's best. Yeah,
I'll play Pango on every patch, right? But for Pango, in the Pango example, what was getting me was being too attached to how I used to play Pango. Whereas now I'm doing like, I'm trying this like shield crash, double jump, max shield crash, fucking weird ass thing, which is just not what Pango was before. It's not this like 2 billion range swashbuckle on a 2-second cooldown on the support and I one shot him. It's just not the same hero. But if I cry about it not being the same hero, or like Techies players, you know, like, oh, I missed mine Techies, it ain't coming back. You're cooked. Shout out to everyone watching. Shout out, comment guys. I love the comments. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know, they're nice. We're gonna close the episode out here, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know what you think, and thanks for tuning in to the Anti-Silencer Silencer Club.
Oh, I actually perfect. How did you? I was really thinking about Silencer. I got to issue a formal apology to Silencer. To Silencer, he has impact now.
Oh my god!
Fuck, I hate him.
Why? It feels like Ice Frog watched our podcast or something. He's like, damn, seriously, those guys are right. Silencer sucks.
It's just fucking terrible. And
yeah,
now
no,
Silencer
the fact
cooks.
that you can when global silence gets dispelled, it just gets reapplied is insane. So you need 2 dispels.
Yeah, Silencer cooks, Silencer players never will. But I'm sorry, Silencer, for my transgressions. You kind of cook now, bro.
Me too. I don't even know Silencer's first name as a hero. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. Let us know what you think of the episode. Peace.
Thanks for watching.